There is definitely, Madam Director, and I say this with the utmost respect, there's definitely a discrepancy between what you're saying and what we're seeing and hearing and what's being broadcast on the nightly news every night to my constituents and to everyone in the state of Rhode Island. Just last night, WPRI said that we had only used 47% of our 80,000 vaccines that we've received. And that we're ranking second to last in New England, only behind Massachusetts on getting those out. Um, I don't think you can, I mean, we're not going to solve that discrepancy in this meeting, but it's important to understand that that's what people are hearing and that's what people are feeding off of.
Absolutely.
So when we look at 47% of the doses that are currently in our possession only being administered, naturally people are going to get very anxious. Um, I am definitely going to push back on your assertion that the state is not the responsible party on the state level, and that CVS and Walgreens is. Um, the state is most certainly the responsible party in ensuring our citizens are properly vaccinated and have it available to them. The corporate partners we engage to help us in the administration of the vaccine is a different story, but they we chose them, so therefore we are responsible for them. Um, I have a concern, and one of our guests, and I'm not sure if he was on this panel or if it was on House Oversight, that Dr. Jha had participated, and as all of the doctors have been, you've all been extremely helpful. Um, he was as well, but he's been talking recently very publicly about wasted doses being thrown away, and you did brush against it earlier in your comments. Um, there are doses being thrown away in Rhode Island. In hospitals, people are signing up to be vaccinated, and not everyone's showing up at that time. And when those kits are delivered, if someone doesn't show up to be vaccinated, rather than use that on someone else, they're throwing them away, and that is happening in Rhode Island. Um, it's asinine, in my opinion, that we would adopt an approach like that. Yes, I understand once they're thawed and ready to be delivered, they must be used or they will have to be thrown out. I understand that. But if you're in a hospital setting and 200 nurses sign up to be vaccinated and 150 show up, why in God's green earth would we not go to the people who are already in the hospital and sick? And I don't care whether they're 55, 45, or 25. It beats throwing it in the garbage, because at some point in our rollout, those 45, 35, and 25-year-olds are going to have to be vaccinated anyway. We have them in a hospital, we have the doses, but yet we're throwing them out because we're not in the right phase. Unacceptable. I don't know what else to say as far as that goes. That's unacceptable. I would like to hear your response to that, though.
Absolutely. I'm glad to jump in on either of them and make corrections as we go. So I'll start with the last one. We are not throwing away any vaccines at the end of the day when there are any left over. We are working directly with the hospitals and our partners to ensure that they move to the next group. If it's happening and you know of it, please let us know, because we will address it immediately. It is our clear message. We are having regular communication. Everyone knows, because we're all experiencing no vaccine can be wasted, including our partners that are doing an excellent job getting them out. When there is something left over at the end of the day, it is being administered to the next group that's available, either within their facility or that we are able to send to their facility. That's how we are moving the outpatient providers up to get started a week earlier, because we've acknowledged that and do that. So I will firmly correct the fact and agree with you. It would not be appropriate if it were being thrown out, and it is not. And if it is, please let us know. We'll address it, and our partners will too, because no one is interested in doing that. In
Yeah,
terms
yeah,
of
yeah.
the,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. On this, Will, are you going to go on to the next question, or are we
yeah,
still
I'm
on
going to
this?
go back to I'm taking them from the
Okay.
last and going to the first.
So
We'll
on the
go to the
second,
next one.
on the second, um, It is absolutely happening. This is not the appropriate forum for me to tell you where
Yeah, definitely
and
let us
why,
know. We're
um,
available to you, and we'll correct it because
but it
no
is
one,
happening.
everyone agrees that it should not. It is not part of our system for it to happen. I want to make sure that that's clear, and we will address it. And I'm confident that the partners we're working with fully agree that it should not happen. So I want all Rhode Islanders to know that that's the case.
Okay,
In
now,
terms of the responsible party for the uh, pharmacy partnership, I'm able to correct the notion. I did not say that we're not responsible for the doses that are vaccinated. I said that the federal government is the one managing that process, but we are overseeing to ensure that it's being done appropriately. It's a partnership, actually embedded into the name, but we wanted people to be clear on the fact that it is engaged with the federal government. The notion that we chose them, yes, we chose, like all other states, to go with this agreement, which was a good one, to ensure that CVS and Walgreens gets the doses out to all of our long-term care and other congregate setting partners. Fully understand that we are working directly with them to ensure that it's happening. The actual logistics of managing and making sure it happens is the responsibility of those entities that are doing it, and will intervene as we have done when the feds suddenly change the number of doses that we were anticipating giving. We will intervene and ensure that everyone who should be getting dosed the vaccine in that high priority group gets it. And then I'll finish with the first one that you mentioned, of the frustration between the numbers that you have heard and mentioned that WPRI reflected and what I have said. My understanding is that those numbers are likely from what the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is posting on a daily basis. We are working actually now to help make that correction clear this week from a messaging standpoint for Rhode Islanders. CDC is reporting what amount of doses they have distributed and sent to the states, and then also reporting what's being administered, which is what we have reported. That number is different from what we received depending on when it's being done, because the receipt that we get can obviously lag in time. That is causing understood frustration because they have more numbers of what's being sent out than what we have in terms of received and then distributed. So we're going to work on reconciling that so Rhode Islanders can clearly understand CDC shipping them. We're not counting them until we actually receive them in hand. And then that number is what we're measuring against distributing out. And that's where of the ones that we're fully managing and controlling, the 55,000 we have received, 50,000 have gone out, 90%, we're keeping that number high. No doses are being wasted anywhere. You can count on us having a strong system to make sure as we get them, we're going to push them out.